Good afternoon, I'm Chris, and this is the day 4 of our 1-week live events. In the last days, we have had the chance to talk about circular economy, digital activism, and communication. And it was not only interesting, but also inspiring and motivating for me to learn so many things related to such different topics. So I would like to say thank you to the guests we had, and also to thank Asia for the amazing job she did interviewing and entertain our audience. Before starting, just a little claim. This series of interviews is a part of the Italian Ministry for the Environment's initiative agenda, All for Climate, which aims to promote 2021 as the year of climate ambition in view of the pre-COP26 in Milan in September 2021. So for those who are listening to us, first, thank you for participating, and feel free to share this event, and most importantly, to write comments or questions. We will share them with our guest during the interview or in the last 10 minutes. So let's start. Today we have the pleasure to talk with Pietro Spataro. Thank you, Pietro, for being here with us. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine, thanks. And thank you very much for having me here. Probably my English is not as good as it should be, but yeah, thank you very much. I saw the other previous event. The lectures were very, very good. So I'm happy to be here.
And we are happy to have you here. So thank you so much. We haven't personally met before, but even if I know something about you, I would like you to talk about yourself, to introduce yourself and tell us more about your work, your ambition, and your vision. So I leave the floor to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm 27 years old. I live in Tuscany. I traveled a lot the world. I have both a degree in science and another in management. I studied climatology, first of all. I took a bachelor and a master degree in the University of Pisa. And then I studied for my thesis in Melbourne. And I have also a master in management. Last year, I finished my master in management. And so I decided to dedicate part of my time, a lot of my time to develop and to follow programs of empowerment for young people in Italy and in general, all around the world. Also thanks to internet, because I had the chance to be a facilitator for an entrepreneurship, a green entrepreneurship MOOC for the UNDP. And I have the chance during my thesis to develop knowledge related to climate change from an economical and political point of view, decarbonization and the decarbonization strategies and best practices to combat climate change. And before of my master in management, I had the chance to study the climate in general, and I focus on paleoclimatology. That seems a very strange topic, a very strange word, but is give us the chance to study the climate in the past and the transition between glacial and interglacial periods, and to understand how a normal climate is, and to understand that this is not so normal for our planet. And after the master in management, I decided to do something for to put my efforts to do something more, instead only to study and to be like a scientist, to to try to change things. And for this reason, I'm very happy to be here to share my experience with you, related to how to communicate climate change and to communicate with young people and not young people. So thank you.
So let's get to the point. And I would like to ask you how difficult it is to communicate to young people, because we know that maybe some of them are not yet interested into the topic. And I think it's interesting to hear by you that you experienced this kind of activity. So what are the difficulties that you met?
Okay, first of all, I think the most difficult part of all the story was to understand why young people, because it's quite easy to say young people are the future, or are very inspiring. That is the sentence that we always listen when some kind of young come to speak with a politician. The politician always say, "You are very inspiring." Yeah, but inspiring is nothing if you want to change the world. But at the same time, young people are so empathetic with this period, because they are the first generation that is starting to feel the climate change in the real life, and they are growing in this world that is quite strange. Everything is moving, is changing day by day, and probably they are the most freedom generation that this planet has ever seen. So we hope that the next one will be more, much more free. But this is the most free for the moment, and this is quite important because allow us to change a lot our behavior, our way in which we think and we act. That is very important in this moment, because every choice that we take, every action that we take has an impact. And now we know what kind of impact is it represents. And probably the last point that is for me the most important, I will try to tell you at the end of the call. But yeah, I decided to speak with the young people because you know, they are the people that are influenced the most, and the most difficult part when you try to speak with people that are young is that you have a tutor every day. So it's like if you want to go in a school, there is a teacher that call you, that invites you to this kind of class. And when you speak in front of various people, sometimes you feel like you are in a theater, no? And if you go in a school, it's like in a theater in which you have to change your script in regard of the face of the tutor, of the professor. Why? Because if you go in a class every day, the teacher asks you to speak about plastic and plastic pollution. But for a person who try to make a positive impact on climate and climate change, plastic pollution is not the right topic to speak about. So it's like you have to try to deliver the right message, like is in a way that is for the person that is listening is maybe not the first topic, is the second one, but that is the topic that give to the people you are speaking to the most positive impact. Because every day we plastic is the main topic when you speak about environment, is everywhere in newspapers, every day in in the television and in our social medias, in Instagram and in Facebook and so on. And it's understandable. But when we have to speak about climate change, we have to speak about energy, we have to speak about material, we have to speak about cement, we have to speak about steel, we have to speak about transport sector and a lot of other things. And it's quite difficult if you want to speak to deliver this story to someone that is, how to say, first of all, innocent. And secondly is innocent because it's quite easy to give to say to a person you are guilty for this word, but this doesn't allow him to or her to make a good change for the environment. So you have to, in my opinion, you have to how to say, to think about that. If you know something and you are trying to do your best to change these kind of things, you are not guilty at all. You are trying to do your best. But sometimes when you speak with people, and also with young people, if you speak with young people, you have to deliver a message that gives to this little boy or little girl the capacity to go to your parents and say, "Hey, Dad, we have to change a little what we are doing now, in a way that allow the parents to do so." And it's not so easy. But at the same time, you can see that there is this scientific paper that monitorized children after a climate change course. And there is this big difference in their carbon footprint, for instance, at the end of the year, and for 5 and 10 years. So you are doing a lot only speaking with young people if you are telling them the right thing in the right way. And this is quite difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's really interesting what you're saying. And I would like you to ask if, at the time being, do you think that the public school is doing enough for young people in order to provide them with the information they need to go outside and maybe try to change actually the world in this sense?
The simple answer is no. But there are a lot of reasons for this this no. First of all, there are not enough capacity and knowledge, and sometimes is because of newspaper, and because they are trying, but they move the most important topic in the wrong direction. Sometimes speaking about plastic, sometimes speaking about glacier, sometimes speaking about ice melting. And we don't have to speak about ice melting all the time. At the same time, when I try to think about the right way to communicate, something that inspired me a lot are movies like Seaspiracy and Conspiracy. Probably everyone now have seen Seaspiracy. Movies like Seaspiracy are able to communicate with everyone, because someone is empathetic with dolphins, someone is empathetic with, whales, or with plastic, or with fish breeding, or with other problems related, for example, to overexploitation of our resources. I don't know, but the idea is that this movie is able to speak with everyone, and everyone is able to feel the message. It's quite difficult to do. It's without images and so on. And this is and we can find here the first problem, that everyone is able to identify and to imagine what is, for instance, a tons of plastic, but no one is able to how to say, to imagine what is a tons of CO2. And for instance, okay, if you are able to imagine what is a 1 ton of CO2, what about CO2 equivalent? It's quite difficult to imagine what is, and it's quite difficult to imagine, for instance, the effect of climate change if you always listen about plastic pollution, listen about temperature in the high latitude, polar bears, and so on. And they are very important, but if you try to communicate the right thing in the wrong way, the effect is terrible. And you can think about the origin of climate change. Global warming was too big. Unfortunately, we are lucky because now we are speaking about climate crisis. But always everyone speak about climate change, and I agree with climate change. But you cannot imagine what climate change is, and therefore I think that when you think about how to communicate with people, you have to think about the highest impact for the climate change, and to combat climate change. And for instance, I don't like books that speak about climate change. In my opinion, they are all boring, and they repeat everything a lot of times. But I really like the book from Bill Gates, because it gives us the big picture in a way that we can manage to find a solution in this big picture. And I always try to do the same. So starting from a bullet point, first one, how much we are emitting. We are emitting 53 so billion of tons of CO2 equivalent. And you have to think about, okay, how I can reduce this quantity. I'm not a politician. I'm not someone that has a lot of power. So how can I have this big impact? So education is something that has a very big impact. And you can go on and on. For instance, telling yourself, asking yourself, okay, how much is the CO2? Is 37 gigatons of gas in the atmosphere every year. And now you can go on and say, what are the sectors that emit the most? And you can go under and say, what about Italy? What are the sectors in Italy? Because we don't have, for instance, a big industry and plants. So we import everything. And so you have to think also about products, you have to services, and so on. And then probably the most important thing that moved me to speak with people is how much is the impact of each person. And you know, in Italy, it's more or less 10 tons of per person of carbon footprint per year. And you know, you can reduce this quantity, giving them the capacity to change their behavior. And it's quite exciting to try to do it. And sometimes when you know that you are doing this kind of thing, it's more than planting trees or asking action to politicians during a strike. Is you are doing you are having a very big impact.
So what are younger people feelings when they approach these calculations of their carbon footprint? So they look enthusiastic about the possibility to reduce their carbon footprint. They are scared, or what are they feeling?
Probably the same feel I felt during the past. Is like you have to give them the capacity to understand, for instance, the carbon footprint, because sometimes if you do in the wrong way, it's like you are saying they are guilty, they are emitting too much, they are destroying the planet, and it's not the right way. But you cannot think about trying to deliver the right message if you don't speak about, for instance, how much energy they are consuming, or for instance, their behavior related to I don't know, their way in which they are eating their houses, or they are refrigerating them, and so on. And for instance, the most difficult thing to speak about is the diet. And you know, if you go in a school, in a class, and say, yeah, the diet is a very big problem in an elementary school, for instance, and you say it's a very big problem, and probably you are telling them in a way that is quite how to say, in the wrong way. It's like you have to be vegan, for instance. It's like I don't like people that are how to say, extreme, extremist, environmental extremists, how to say. But sometimes it could be the feeling of the people you are speaking to if you choose the wrong words to say they have an impact with their diet. I'm not vegan. I'm only thinking about okay, I have to reduce the meat in my diet, because meat is quite polluting. And we are thinking about climate change, emission, methane, and we can think about the fact that methane is strongest greenhouse gases than stronger than CO2, for instance. And I can speak about the difference between methane and CO2 for an hour, so I think you don't want to listen about it. But you know, there is this kind of sometimes methane is less than 10% of the emission. The how to say, the 52 gigatons. And you know, the 10% come from meat and rice. Sometimes someone is trying to deliver the message that it's not the 10%, but it's the 30% of the 40%. And if you follow this kind of message, you have to reorganize your ideas related to the diet, because the diet becomes bigger in your calculation, the calculation of your carbon footprint. But every time you are trying to deliver a message for giving the people the chance to reduce their emission, is also a problem of money and capital. If you go to a school and say to people, you have to ask your grandparents to buy an electric car. Okay, if they cannot purchase an electric car, what they have to do? And you have to tell them you don't have to buy another car, because probably if you maintain your car, you are emitting less than if you buy another car that is more efficient. For instance, a GPL car, or how it's called, a plug-in hybrid or an hybrid. And also, if you think about their house, you have to deliver the message that they have to think about the efficiency of their houses, and you have to think about they can think about how to shift from a pellet heating system or a methane heating system in an electric heating system, for instance. But the most efficient way to reduce their emission is to ask these people where your energy comes from. You have to go to your bill. You have to check, and probably if you don't want to have this big impact, you have to ask your energy seller. I don't know how to call it, to sell you green energy pack. And this is not so expensive. It's like €2 in a month, every month. But this gives the message to your energy seller to produce more green energy. And this is a path that is starting from your request. So it's not only your impact, but you are starting moving work that go on and go on. So, and this is a big impact in very few doesn't cost much. And another one is telling them you can compensate your emission. And sometimes there are solutions that allow you to compensate your emission, that allow other people to reduce their carbon footprint. I have a passion for compensation. I'm starting a startup in this sector, but can allow you to reduce your emission in an indirect way. But there are a lot of solutions. For instance, another one is to reduce your deforestation footprint. When you buy or you to reduce your purchasing in Amazon and so on. So to reduce the delivery, because this allow you to reduce the movement of cars and so on. You can buy in Amazon, it's not a problem, but you can also choose to buy in Amazon 1 month, and I don't know, instead of buy one item each week, you can buy 4 items at the end of the month. It's quite easy. And this is probably an easy way to give them the capacity to reduce their emission, but we have also to give them the capacity to understand what are what are you speaking about? So what is CO2 equivalent? You have to tell them. Where this emission come from? You have to tell them. There is this topic that now is spreading, that is green premium. Is like the cost of a shift in a green way, and you can identify what is what costs the most and what costs the less in if you want to give them the capacity to reduce their emission. You cannot give them tell them that they have to put how to say photovoltaic panel in their houses, because maybe they don't have the capacity, but you can ask them to change in to a green electric pack, how I said previously, and so on. So sorry for the
no, don't worry.
answer.
Don't worry. So these are the things that people can do to reduce their carbon emissions. But what are the feedback that people gives to you when you speak about carbon footprint? So what are they answering to you?
Sometimes is with my colleagues, we are developing a carbon footprint calculator that is quite easy, very simple, few steps to calculate your emissions in order to give you the capacity to do it, because sometimes it's quite difficult for them to do it. It takes too long time. For instance, if you ask them how much energy you are purchasing in your bills, give me the quantity you are every month. But I'm very excited about the fact that when you give the chance to the people to calculate their carbon footprint, they are not afraid at all to develop to know, to discover the quantity. Because if you think about young people, they are below the average quantity, for instance, and but at the same time, when they are above this level, if you give them in very quickly little solution to develop to reduce their carbon footprint, it's quite easy that they feel not guilty, but they feel themselves like they are in progress, because this is what we have to deliver to them. They are not guilty at all. They are in progress to develop a better planet, a better scenario for the other generations. And it's quite easy because you are giving them the capacity to understand what climate change is and what their impact is. But it's quite difficult to give them this capacity and this chance, because, for instance, if you are interested in the topic, you can Google carbon footprint calculator and you can find a lot of different tools. But if you are not interested too much in this kind of topic, it's quite difficult for you to deliver, to have the knowledge of a carbon footprint. Probably for you, the carbon footprint calculator doesn't exist at all. So the problem is not the results. The problem is how much people are measuring it in this time. Because when a person knows their impact, is the first step to reduce it. If a person doesn't know, you have to give them the chance to know about it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know it, but we tried several carbon calculators and carbon offsets that are available on the web, and we actually made a kind of series which name is Carbon Series. And we are talking about these carbon calculators, the carbon offsets, and we are trying to figure out how useful they are to communicate sustainability. So what is your, of course, you are pro carbon calculators and you think this is a useful tool, but in particular, what is the main and the most important factor that pushed you to implement this tool on your website and on your startup, which is Risearth, right?
Risearth, yes,
Yeah, right.
yes. We are launching it and probably will be online in 1 week. We are really excited about that. And first of all, the first thing that I want to say is that it should be very, very simple for people to calculate their emission. A carbon calculator is not a correct way to calculate your carbon footprint. There are a lot of data into the calculator that are different from a paper to another paper. If you are using scientific paper, someone is not using scientific paper, not at all. But if it is simple, a lot of people will try to calculate their emission. And first of all, before of start thinking if a carbon footprint is a good way to start reducing the emission of people, the first thing is to think about the people. If we want to ask people to reduce their emission, or if you want to have politicians that develop best solution for the citizens. Because sometimes there is this kind of there are two ideas, one is people have to do their part, and the other one, people have not to do their part because they are not guilty at all. They have only to receive the solution from the top politicians, policymakers, and so on, and also, for instance, businesses, big businesses, and so on. But what I really believe is that there is the political part is going we took too much to arrive to the Paris Agreement, and we are waiting for an Article 6. We are waiting for a lot of other integration of the Paris Agreement into the local political strategy and so on. But during my master in management, I discovered that the financial sector is moving very, very fast in the direction of the integration of ESG criteria, environmental, social, and governance criteria, in their work, in order to deliver something, from the top, because they are asking businesses to do it. But at the same time, the financial sector is only is asking companies and authorities to do thinking from in a green way, only because they are thinking faster than the other. But there are a lot of people in my city, in your city, they are trying to develop to choose the right when they are in the supermarkets, choose the right packaging where they are outside, and they are trying to do their best to reduce their plastic and so on. So this gives a very big signal to the market. And if you want to move the thing faster, you have to give a signal to the market, because you cannot wait the politician. You cannot wait that I don't know, a policymaker one day, one morning decide, I want to change everything, to ask the businesses to do more than what they are doing at the moment. But if you ask, how I already said, more energy pack, green energy pack to an energy seller, probably it will have to introduce more green energy in their energy mix, in order to catch, in order to respond to the request of the market, because the market are people. And in my opinion, if you are a person, you can choose with your wallet. There was this big sentence in the US that was choose with your wallet. That is quite important, in my opinion. That is not only plastic, is a lot of other things. But if you are not able to deliver, why there are other things that are very, very important, as much important as the plastic pollution and the air pollution, for instance. You cannot see the effect. And carbon footprint is only the starting point, because education is like giving them the capacity to do it. And carbon footprint is the first one. If you don't measure your carbon footprint, you cannot start reducing them. You can see it in the business side. If a company start to calculate their emission, they can start to reduce their emission. But if they don't know how much they are emitting, it's quite impossible to give them the chance to reduce them. Big companies are measuring their emission. In our startup, we are trying to give small and medium enterprise the capacity to do it, because in Italy we have the 90% of small and medium enterprises. So if we want to reduce the emission, we have to also think about them. And this, is a bottom side approach, but at the same time, it's an approach that takes all the sector. For instance, there was this paper, this scientific paper, that measured the effect of a climate change course in a high school, for the impact of this climate change course. And after 1 year, after 5 years, after 10 years, to the students, and the impact was very crazy. Education programs are the most impactful in regard of any other program in developing countries, but also in developed countries. And if you think about the reduction of 1 ton of CO2 for young boys and girls per year, and you, for instance, you speak with a class of 30 people, you are reducing the emission of these people you are reducing in 1 year 30 per 10 years. So 300 tons of CO2 is a lot. And you can do it only with a course on climate change. And it's crazy. So if we want to reduce the emission of people, we have to start with education. And this is the reason why I said no to your previous question, because if we do it in the school, we are moving as much faster, very, very, very quickly in the right direction. We have to move faster, you know, to decarbonize.
Yeah, I have a question. Since it seems like you are putting so much responsibility into the end of the consumers and of normal people, why did you decide to also offer this service or this tool of carbon calculators also to small, medium enterprises?
Because I don't want to give too much responsibility to one person. I want to give the responsibility to everyone in the right way. So I think that the most easiest ways to do it is to start in identifying the emission that come from your life, your business, and so on. And because, you know, if you reduce as much as possible your emission, you cannot go to a zero emission, but you can you don't have to think only about you. If you start to measure your emission, you will go to your friend or the business close to you and say, I'm doing this, I'm feeling that I'm doing the right thing. Probably I'm not able to reduce all my emission now. I will try to compensate them. And then the other business will do the same thing. And if the other business is doing the same thing, a lot of efforts are putting in climate change and in emission reduction. And it is good because this develop skills in your company. And this is good because if you compensate, you are moving money capital to developing countries, for instance, that allow them to reduce their emission and moving forward to develop a developed society without the passage from, you know, coal, oil, methane, and then green energy, and so on and so on. And this is, you know, it's a cascade. It's a movement that is as could be very impactful, in my opinion. So and regarding your question, why businesses? Because businesses are quite important, because businesses where a person cannot, probably a person cannot reach a zero emission lifestyle, and also a business cannot do it. But when you reduce the emission that come from the cities and the business, you are probably also double counting the reduction. In a way, this is positive, not negative. Double counting is always something negative, you know. You are counting your emission, and the people close to you are counting the same emission, the same reduction, and so you are reducing your carbon footprint. He is reducing the carbon footprint. Okay, but at the same time, if I reduce my carbon footprint, the business is reducing the carbon footprint, and because you are not able to measure in the right way, you probably are reducing more than the number that you are thinking. And this is quite good. And this is the reason why we think about compensation and overcompensation. For instance, if you are compensating for your emission today, you are not doing something good. You are neutral. If you are reducing your emission, your today emission, but also your yesterday emission, you are doing something positive instead. And this is why we are moving faster in this direction, giving them the capacity, giving to all the entities the capacity of measure the emission, understand what are the right choices with less less costly than the other the solution that you listen in and you read in say in newspaper and in television. And this allow you also, if you are doing the right thing, I'm doing the right thing, probably your the politician that is representing you have to think about I have to think to change my strategy in order to be re-elected, and so on and so on and so forth.
Okay, so we are close to the end, but I would like to switch a little bit of the topic. And speaking about responsibility of the individuals, you are a climate reality leader. So why did you decide to join the Climate Reality Project? And what do you think is the best thing it offers to young people who join it?
My answer is I wanted to understand how they were working. They are working very hard to communicate climate change, and they are doing a great job. And doing the fact that it's quite difficult and tough work, I wanted to discover their secret, and I have developed my own method, also thanks to what I learned from the course as for the training to become a climate reality leader. And this it's a very good organization. And there is this super big boss of this organization that is very, very, how to say, committed, and allow you to think about the fact that you can follow his path, and allow you to be a lot empathetic with him. And but at the same time, what I really think is the right choice is to start in your city, to start in your country, but in a way that gives you the chance to fight for the right in the right battle, for the right battle. For instance, if you think about I don't want to that my city, my municipality cuts one tree, and you are putting a lot of efforts on it. You have to think about the deforestation that we are importing at the moment. Each person is importing like 30 square meters of deforestation every year. So one tree is nothing compared to what we are doing in Brazil or in the other tropical forests. So think about locally, but fight for the right battle is the you know what I want to suggest to the people that are listening to us. And for instance, join the organization that you have in your city is not is a good way to start. For instance, it could be Fridays for Future. It could be Environpeople. If you want, it could be also climate reality projects. But you can start from them and develop your own capacity to communicate. And when you go outside, you have to communicate with the people around you, not with politicians. So you have to develop your own way to communicate it, and it's quite important to do it because it gives you the capacity to 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 give the listener the capacity to have a big impact, to reduce their emission, and to take the right choice when they are buying things, when they are in a supermarket, and then where they are voting.
Yes, it's quite interesting because it seems like lately the movements of people that are fighting against climate change, such as Extinction Rebellion or Fridays for Future, are said as being a failure in terms of what they are actually achieving. So why do you think they are actually doing a great job in this sense?
I think that when you start thinking we have to ask to our politician, you are losing your efforts. Not really, not hold your efforts. You have to do it, but you have also to think locally and to think about the people you are around you. And climate reality projects as these kind of methods that allow you to give this kind of presentation and to communicate climate change to all the people. It gives you a presentation that you can deliver, and is quite a very good method. Fridays for Future sometimes has tried to move people and to ask politicians to change their behavior and to develop the right solution to combat climate change. But in a political point of view, if the people are not ready to listen about this kind of solution, politicians will not start to thinking about the environment. They have to think about people, and sometimes if you think about people, you cannot think about the environment. We have to switch from people that are thinking about themselves to people that are thinking about the environment, and then politicians will start thinking about the environment because they are continuing to start to thinking about people. So if the problem is the price of the oil for petrol cars, you cannot start putting a new price on the oil because you will start a revolution like in France. But if you but if you give them the capacity to switch to a more efficient, much more efficient vehicle, or if you are giving them the capacity to feel that this price is good for for the next generations, probably you will like this kind of new tax, probably. But this is quite difficult, I think. So you have to start from the bottom side in this kind of bottom-up approach. Because if you start with a top-down approach, the problem is that you will start thinking, I'm failing in this thing, because there is this Paris Agreement, but there is the integration of this Paris Agreement. This is quite difficult. In Italy, we have to put a lot of investment in this kind of Green Deal if you want to reduce our emission, to decarbonize the sector. And now we have the COVID pandemic, so a lot of money have to go to the restoration of the Italian economy, and it's quite difficult to understand what is the right way. We have to deliver this money from the to I don't know, to polluting sector, or we have to ask them to pay more taxes in a pandemic. So this is quite difficult if you think about people that are thinking about their economy. But if you speak with people that are interested also in the environment, because they are integrating the environment in their behavior, probably you could also choose for a political strategy that is impactful for the environment.
That is true.
It's a quite difficult topic, I know.
Yeah, we would need more time to go over this topic, but so we are right on time, and I would like to thank you, Pietro, because it was an amazing interview and we had a great time. And also it was a pleasure to have you here. So thank you again.
It's a pleasure also for me. Thank you.
Okay, and I would also like to thank all our audience and the people that are listening to us. So do not miss the other interviews this week. Tomorrow, our guest is Van, and actually we are talking about carbon footprint or carbon offsets. So Pietro, you are invited to join us on Facebook. Yeah, thank you. And check out our other interviews and series episodes on Facebook and YouTube. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.